All right, so you can borrow what at the library? So today for our discussion, we're going to talk about the Wichita Public Library's Library of Things. We're also going to talk about a new feature we have called Early Learning Kits. And then we have a little blurb at the end for something that I'm really excited about, which is our Canopy streaming service. So this is a really big plug for the library, if you can't tell. And I hope you learned something, and I hope you learn some new services available at the library. So what is a library of things? Libraries all across the country are introducing what they're calling their library of things. And these are basically non-traditional items that libraries can circulate to customers for any given period of time. So traditionally, libraries have books, movies, music, spoken audio, those sorts of traditional items. But libraries realize that, if you could put a barcode on it and put it in our library system, you're able to circulate it out to customers. So a lot of libraries introduce like cooking gadgets, blenders, mixers, cake pans. Some libraries circulate power tools. I've even seen one of my favorites is a tie-brary, where the library gives out ties for people who are going on job interviews and might not have money to go buy a tie or don't have time to go to the store. They can come to the library and check out a tie for their job interview. So the joke kind of is, if you can put a barcode on it and lend it out to people, it could go into the library of things. So we launched our library of things in June of 2021. So last summer, and we started with four materials. We introduced radon detectors first, and then we expanded technology with hotspots. We then looked to the sky and introduced telescopes. And then recently, back in November, we introduced our internet bundles, which is a really cool service I'm excited to talk to you all about today. And since we've started this, we've had a combined 800 circulations in the 6 months that this has been in existence, which far exceeds our expectations. We really weren't sure how to introduce this, what the response would be, but it's pretty staggering when you look at the numbers, the demand for non-traditional items to be borrowed from public libraries. So the first item we introduced were our radon detectors, and these are through a partnership with Pure State Services LLC, which is a radon mitigation company here in Wichita. And they gave us 5 of their Air Things Corinthium Home radon detectors. I purchased my first home in March of 2021. And when I was doing my inspection, I had to do a radon test. And I really didn't know why I needed to do a radon test, but I'm glad I did. Radon is a colorless, odorless, and radioactive gas that can accumulate indoors over time. And Sedgwick County is considered medium risk for radon. So we thought that this would be a really interesting material to circulate. And it's been so popular. Sarah left me some notes. We have checked out radon detectors 58 times since we've introduced this, and we currently have 60 holds on our radon detectors. So it's a very high demand item. And it's really cool because, you have like your carbon monoxide alarm thing in your house to detect carbon monoxide, but a lot of times people don't know about radon. So if you're interested in seeing what the radon levels are in your home, we have the radon detectors that you can come and place your hold on. And once they're available, you can borrow them. I don't think customers keep them for the full length of the checkout period, just because, you use it for a couple of days, get your readings, and then you're done with it. So I think this is a quick circulating item, but definitely put your name on the hold list if you're interested in seeing what the radon levels are in your home. The second product that we introduced were mobile hotspots. And throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, we realized that access to internet and access to adequate technology at home is a huge barrier for a lot of people. A lot of us are really lucky. We have the latest technology and We're able to access the internet wherever we need to, whenever we need to, but some people aren't that lucky. So we received generous funding from the Forrest H. and Francis H. Latner family through the Wichita Public Library Foundation. A huge shout out to our library foundation. They support quite a few initiatives that we were able to introduce and offer to the community. So we were able to purchase our 50 hotspots, and you may borrow a hotspot if you need access to the internet at home. So what the hotspot does is you turn it on, you connect it, and it puts out Wi-Fi in the area that you're at, and then you're able to connect your phone, your iPad, your computer, whatever technology you have that relies on Wi-Fi, you're able to connect using this hotspot. And the cool thing about this is it's mobile. You don't have to plug it in unless you need to charge it. So if you're going on a road trip and you need Wi-Fi in your car, you can turn on the hotspot and get Wi-Fi in your vehicle. Or let's say you're going to a cabin in the mountains of Colorado and you know you're not going to have any internet connection up there. You can check out a hotspot, take it with you, turn it on while you're at the cabin, and get access to Wi-Fi so you can access, Facebook or whatever you need to do on your devices. So they're very handy. And we have a video here that I'm going to show you real quick that we made when we introduced hotspots. You can now, You can now borrow hotspots from your Wichita Public Library. Thanks to a gift in memory of Forrest C. and Francis H. Latner through the Wichita Public Library Foundation, these free hotspots provide customers with access to internet at home or wherever you are. You can borrow a hotspot for 14 days. Once you have your hotspot, simply turn the hotspot on with the power button, click the power button to find the network name, and then click the power button again to find the password. Use this information on your computer, phone, tablet, or other device to connect to the hotspot. If you have questions, we provide a how-to guide inside each hotspot case. You can also schedule a Book a Librarian appointment with a technology trainer by calling 316-261-8500. We also provide a phone number for T-Mobile customer support for assistance after library hours. Place your holds by going to wichitalibrary.org/things. Hotspots, a new service provided by your Wichita Public Library, a service of the City of Wichita. So a couple of things I want to point out with any of our technology products, we have this really cool service called Book a Librarian, where you can call the library and say, hey, I'm having trouble with my iPad, or I don't know how to download ebooks, or I can't get my hotspot to work. And we will connect you for a couple of hours with a technology trainer and walk you through whatever tech problem you're having. And they will find solutions for you and work with you one-on-one to get you up and going. So I just wanted to throw that out there. And then I noticed that Linda in the chat asked, where do we find these products on the library website in order to put a hold on them? At the end of the presentation, I'll take you over to the library website and I'll show you where everything's at so you can see where they're at, read more about them, and then place your holds if you're interested. So following our hotspots, we decided we needed to introduce some telescopes. And to be totally honest, I was completely taken by surprise when we introduced these. When Sarah Kittrell told us we were introducing telescopes, I was thinking they would be like these tiny little telescopes that you can just like throw in a bag and, it wouldn't be like anything great, grand or anything like that. But we're the Wichita Public Library and we don't do anything small. So we decided you needed like the best telescope around. And when I tell you these telescopes are huge, like they are monsters. We ask people to buckle them into your vehicle when you're taking them to and from the library, because they are really big and we want to take the best care possible with them. And these things are really high tech and really cool, and they're just awesome. So we received a really generous donation from the Georgia Akins family. So we were able to add, at the beginning, we added 10 telescopes to our circulation, but we realized that the demand for these were just way too high. So we added 5 more to meet demand, and that helped a little bit. If we had all the money in the world, we would probably purchase a few more just to cut circulation numbers down because they are that popular. So reasons you might want to borrow a telescope. If you've ever been interested in astronomy, telescopes are for you. A lot of people think a lot of telescopes are expensive. So a lot of people kind of refrain from exploring astronomy because they don't have the budget to do that. Well, with the public library, you could try a telescope out, see if astronomy is really the hobby that you want to explore. And if you find that it's something that you're interested in, you can go ahead and buy a telescope for yourself. But you didn't have to really put up the money up front to explore that because you could get a telescope for free from the public library. It's a really fun family activity. So if you have kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, what have you, telescopes are just a great way to kind of come together and have fun and learn some new things. What's really cool about our telescope is we give you a lot of different guides. So we give you a guide on how to use the telescope. We have QR codes so you can watch videos that we've made that shows you how to use the telescope. And we also give you constellation books so you can, whatever time of the year you're looking at the sky through the telescope, you can look for different constellations based on the guide that we give you. So just keep this in mind. It is a really fun family activity. So if you're looking to maybe do something this summer with a telescope, put your name on the hold list now, because by May, chances are you'll have one. That's how popular they are. Sarah says we have 15 telescopes total at the library. We have 51, we've had 51 checkouts, and we have 153 holds right now. So keep that in mind. Telescopes are very popular. And then the latest thing that we introduced that I'm really proud of are our internet bundles. We received American Rescue Plan Act money from the FCC to put 250 internet bundles into circulation. These internet bundles are a Chromebook and a wireless hotspot, and they're intended for residents who have insufficient access to internet to meet their needs. So like I said earlier about hotspots, we learned during the pandemic that a lot of people didn't have the technology they needed to work from home or do schooling from home or find a job or do a lot of these different things. And so with these internet bundles, the idea is people who have low to no internet connectivity at their home can come and borrow one of these. You get a Chromebook laptop to do any of the work you need to. You get a wireless hotspot so you can access the Wi-Fi for wherever you are. And these circulate for 28 days. So you have this for about a month. And since these are so new and we kind of staggered when we released bulks of these internet bundles, there's still quite a few left to check out. We have 250 of them, which is a lot. So we have customers coming back realizing that they could renew these. So a lot of customers are actually getting these for a month or two, just because we don't have all of them checked out yet. So if this is something you're interested in, or you know someone who might not have access to the internet at home, definitely tell them about internet bundles and come to the library and check those out. It's a really great service. We're working with a lot of different agencies in Wichita to get the word out about this, including our own housing department, because it's just an essential service right now, technology. It's an essential thing that we all need right now, living through COVID. So this is one that I'm really excited about. And then we have more things coming in 2022 that we're really excited about. And these are really geared towards our younger audiences. So one thing that we're getting ready to introduce are our Finch 2.0 coding robots. So we're all about learning here at the library. And we really like to explore STEM and STEAM education. So the coding robots are really cool because kids will be able to learn code and they'll be able to put codes into this robot to make the robot do different things, which is really interesting and really cool. And we're hoping that we can, build up some tech enthusiasts here in Wichita through this product. And it'll be really fun because we'll have some here at the library that we'll be able to use for youth programming, and kids will also be able to take these home, which we're really excited about. And then another thing that we're really excited about are our anatomical models. We have a really big homeschool group here in Wichita, a big homeschool community. And the homeschooling parents really rely on the public library for books and resources to support their curriculum that they're teaching at home. And we thought, why not get these models so they could teach, about different science subjects. So we'll be getting these anatomical models to circulate to customers. The list will include an ear model, a kidney model, the classic eye model, which will have 6 parts. We'll do an 8-part human brain model and then a heart model. So kids can learn about different organs in the body and learn how everything works together, works separately, and how everything functions. So these will be coming at some point in 2022. Another thing we introduced that we weren't quite sure if it fits in the library of things or not, but it's also a non-traditional circulating item at the library, and these are our kits. So we introduced STEAM to Go kits, and these are really, really cool. So they were funded through a gift, again, from the Georgia Akins family through the Wichita Public Library Foundation. And we offer 12 different titles in this series. So BUZZ acronym is STEAM, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Art, and Math. So all 12 of these have to do with one of those 5 subjects. On the screen, you can see a few examples that we have. We have the building and design kit. We have electronics, coding, and bots. And then we have engineering gears and mazes. And what's really cool about these kits is they all come with a book that kids can read along by themselves or with their parents. And then they have different activities that they can participate in. So if they, let's take the electronics, coding, and bots kit. There's a book about coding. There is a little robot in there that they can practice coding. And then there is a little circuit board that they can use to put circuits together. When I was in middle school, we had a class that we had to take, which we just called Tech Lab. And it was basically like different modules that we would spend a couple weeks at learning new tech, science, engineering topics. Like I remember one of the ones I did, we had to complete a circuit board. And then there was one where we got to build towers out of balsa wood. And then we learned about like structural integrity, and we got to crush it to see how strong our towers were and how much pressure it could withstand. And these STEAM to Go kits are kind of what reminds me of that class I took. The really cool thing about these kits that we've found is parents with kids, their kids their interest levels go all over the place. So like one day they might be interested in dinosaurs, and then the next day they're interested in coding. So these kits are really cool because parents don't have to make the investment of getting all of these activities and books pulled together for something that may or may not be short-lived for their kids' interests. We've had parents come and say, we love this, we want to try all of them. They put their name on hold, and the kids will have fun. They get these for a couple of weeks, and then they bring it back, and then the next kid gets to come and enjoy them. So these have been really popular, and we're really excited that we were able to introduce these as well. And then another thing that's coming soon this year, we're hoping in the next month or two, are our early learning backpacks. So these are the preschool equivalent of the STEAM to Go kits. The STEAM to Go kits are really geared towards kind of that 3rd and 4th grade age level. The early learning backpacks are going to be for the preschoolers or the younger kids. And they focus on literacy skills and early learning concepts, and will include books and toys to help parents and kids and families learn together. And we hope, like I said, we hope to launch these here in the next month or two. But these are also really cool. They just have a bunch of different games and activities and learning tools for kids. Um, Anything that we can do to supplement learning and reading at home, we aim to try to introduce it here at the library. The last thing I want to talk about is Canopy. I'm not sure who all has heard of this new streaming service we have, but this is really cool. So we introduced this last month. I see a thumbs up from Linda. I'm assuming Linda is a Canopy user. Um, it's basically like Netflix or Hulu, but it's geared towards libraries and universities. In fact, libraries and universities are really the only institutions that could provide access to residents that can provide this service. So Canopy is really thoughtfully curated films and TV shows for people. You have your documentaries, your foreign films, some obscure films that are really hard to find on like mainstream TV and streaming services. But there's a lot of really good stuff on here. Each month, oh, by the way, this is totally free with your library card. All you need to do is have your library card and your PIN number ready. You go to Canopy, you can download this on your phone, on your smart TV. So if you have like Roku or Apple TV, you can download the Canopy app and log in that way. You can download this on your iPad or your tablet. It's supported by a lot of devices. You just log in using your library information, your library card number and your PIN, and you have access to the entire Canopy library. Now, Canopy is a very expensive product for the library. So right now we're starting it out where you get 7 play credits each month, which means you can watch up to 7 movies each month. And then once the month is over and the next month starts, those 7 credits reload, and then you can watch 7 more, during that month. This also works for TV shows. So if you're wanting to watch a TV show on here, it's not a credit per episode, it's a credit for that TV show. So like if you start watching, let's say just a series on Canopy, you only have to use 1 credit to access those episodes, which is really cool. Another really cool thing that we have through Canopy is great courses. You have access to 2 great courses, online learning courses for free each month. And they have a ton of really cool courses to take. I personally am a huge fan of musical theater, and I've noticed they have quite a few different courses about the history of musical theater on there that I'm really interested in learning about. If you're interested in languages, they have different language courses you could take. They have culinary courses. They have all sorts of stuff that you can look at. And then if you have kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, we also have total access to Canopy Kids. There are a lot of really cool content, a lot of cool content for kids on Canopy Kids, including Sesame Street. I think Sesame Street has a deal with Canopy, so they have a lot of their episodes on there that you can access. They also have a lot of Spanish speaking content for kids and adults, so they appeal to different languages. And then for the kids, it's really cool. They have a lot of books that are kind of like filmed versions of these books, so you could like read/listen to books and see the illustrations from the books. It's a really neat service that Canopy offers. So there were a couple of questions. I'm going to stop sharing real quick and go to my internet real quick, and I will show you where you can access all of this on the library's website real quick. All right, so where do we find the products for the Library of Things? So if you go to the Wichita Public Library's website, which is wichitalibrary.org, and you click on services right here, It's in alphabetical order. So if you scroll down to Library of Things, you can click on that. And we have information about the Chromebooks and the laptops, which we have available for in-library use only at the Advanced Learning Library. You have information about hotspots, including how long you can check them out and how many renewals you have. You have information about the internet bundles, radon detectors, the Steam to Go kits, and the telescopes. So let's say you want to request a telescope. If you just click on this little button that says request a telescope, it will open the library's catalog and take you to our catalog listing for the library or for the telescope. You can click on it to learn a little bit more about it. Right now, so this list is a little outdated, but right now we have about 129 holds on it on telescopes. But what you can do is you can just go here and request it. You'll put in your library card number and your PIN, and then you'll choose which location you want to pick the material up at. We can take any item from our library of things and have them ready for you to pick up at any library location that best accommodates you. And if you remember, we did away with hold fees. So you don't have to pay a hold fee or a transfer fee for these items. Just go crazy, place all the holds on all the items. And then to go back, I want to show you real quick just where our Canopy is on the website if you want to learn a little bit more about that. So under books and more, we have like all of our information about digital magazines, ebooks, that sort of thing. But if you click on streaming movies, it'll take you to our Canopy page. And this is where you can learn a lot more about Canopy. We even give you what devices accommodates Canopy. So TV, phone, tablet, a little bit more about Canopy Kids. And then we have frequently asked questions about Canopy. So if you have a question about it, chances are we've answered it here on our website. But again, if you don't know how to work Canopy or having some issues trying to log in or download it, our Book a Librarian service, I tell you, it's amazing. They will help you with all of that. So just give us a call at the library and our librarians would be so happy to help you with that. Linda asks, will the hotspot work if I'm in the middle of the ocean or only if near a regular cellular internet provider? You know, I'm not sure because I haven't been on a vacation since we've received hotspots. I would think it would work to some degree, but I would have to ask our tech people and our digital services team here at the library whether or not they would work in a situation like that. Charles, do you have any idea?
Well, my thinking would be if you're on a cruise ship, you know, in this century as opposed to the 1900s, you know, you'd be using their Wi-Fi, which would be which they would be accessing from satellite, presumably. So I'd optimistically hope that it would be transmitted, that it would work. I worry about if you're in another sometimes if you're in another country, if you're in another country's purview, that can be an issue, you know, with computer access. But I would think it would be possible. But
yeah, I would think so too. I would think so too. I've only been on one cruise and it's been a while, but I do remember, you know, you could purchase a Wi-Fi package on a cruise ship. I would assume your hotspot would work on something like that. And then we had another comment that says, I am one of the 150 plus people waiting for a telescope. Is there a way to check where I am in the line? I believe so. I believe if you call.
Actually, if you check your library account from home, you can find it on your site. You can look at all your holds, and there will be a place in queue. You know, so at the point when something is actually about to arrive for it, it'll say number 1, indicating that you are in fact first in queue, and you're the next person to receive that item. Yeah. Or calls, as Sean says, because we do this all day long.
Yeah, give us a call and we can tell you that. I do not see my request for the telescope when I look at my account. Could I have done it wrong when I placed the request? What I would do is give us a call at the library,
Absolutely.
261-8500, and we can look that up for you. We'll look up your account and see what's up. And then if for some reason you're not on the holds list,
We'll
we'll
get you
put
there
you on hold.
immediately.
Yeah, we'll get there. And then how do you sanitize, or would I do it before returning? So this is kind of a funny answer. We do ask that you don't sanitize,
Yeah.
especially the telescopes, because with the lenses and everything, you could ruin them. We have our own way of kind of disinfecting everything before it goes out for the next use. So please don't worry about it. We'll take care of that once it's returned to the library. That was one big discussion we really had when we were, because we knew people were going to be very kind and want to clean everything, but it's like, we'll take care of it, because they're very expensive. It's a very expensive piece of equipment, and one wrong weird move and we might have to replace a lens or something. So we'll take care of it. It's no big deal. All right. Are there any other questions? I am not seeing any, Charles.
Nor am I, Sean. Unless you've got some show tunes to sing, we could.
I'm always happy to channel my inner Patti LuPone, but
Anything by Sondheim, really. But
yes.
I don't know. I don't know if the public wants to hear me do that. Lord knows. I'm ready to wrap up whenever you are. Let me send the survey outcome round to everybody, please.
Joyce did ask about Book a Librarian. So let me show you on our website real fast. I'll share my screen again. Okay, so under services, we have our Book a Librarian tab. Right now, we're doing it only at the Advanced Learning Library downtown. We're hoping to get back out to branches here shortly, but it's really easy. You can just give us a call at 261-8500. We just need 1 day advance notice so we can get a technology trainer on the calendar to assist you. And we'll help you with anything. We'll help you with iPads, tablets, variety of different softwares. If you need help searching or applying for jobs, or need help printing tax documents, or whatever you need help with, our tech trainers are versed in so many different things, and they will help you with that. And then we have another question about our 3D printing program. So I will definitely talk about 3D printing real fast. 3D printing, we we introduced this like February of 2020, like right before COVID started. And we had to put this on pause for about 1.5 years, and we finally are able to offer this service again. This is a really cool service. So you have to be 14 years or older to use the 3D printer, library card in good standing, and you have to be certified to use the printer. The certification process is pretty easy. We have a couple of different courses that you need to take here at the library. The first one is a 3D printing demonstration. You'll watch how things are printed and completed on the 3D printer. And then we'll talk, the second course is a 3D printing processes course. You'll learn about the 3D printers, best practices for printing. You'll learn about the different printers that we have available here at the library. And then you'll also need to complete your first 3D print with a staff member. And this is just to show that we know that you know how to use the 3D printer. Because like a lot of our other materials, very expensive pieces of equipment, we just want to make sure that you know how to work the printers pretty well. You know, after you're certified and you have questions, we always have tech trainers on hand. We always have people here to help. More than happy to help. Just give us a call or find one of us and we'll help you. And then once you're ready to print, or you're certified, you're ready to use the 3D printer. You would just come in, let us know when you're coming in to print something so we could have it ready for you. It costs 20 cents per gram of filament used. So there is a cost to use the 3D printer. And what we do is once your print job is complete, we weigh it and then we calculate what the total is, and then you can pay it at the circulation desk. But also on this website, we have information about the 3D printers. We have information about the software available that you can use through our AV studio, which is now open. I'll show you a little bit more about that here in a second. And then there's also a ton of technology classes that we offer here at the library for free that you could take to learn like Tinkercad and other software so you can use the 3D printers a little bit easier. We also have a ton of books available in our library about 3D printing. So if you're interested in those, we also have that information listed at the bottom as well. One thing that we just reopened at the Advanced Learning Library is our AV studio. I always like to touch on this. It's one of my favorite spaces here at the library. And we offer so much AV equipment that you can use for whatever creative project you want to explore. We have people come in and play acoustic guitar and record their guitar solos. We have people come and make podcasts. We have software available to make graphic design projects, music, podcasts, all sorts of different projects you want to work on. It's available at our AV studio. And this is a free service for customers. It's a 3-hour reservation per day. You have to be 14 years of age or older. We let our younger kids use it, but they need to be accompanied by an adult. You need to have your library card in good standing. We don't allow food or drinks in there, again, because of the equipment. You can bring your own equipment if you need that. And then all video, everything, you just want to bring like your USB drive so you can save your stuff. Here's all the equipment that's included. We also have a ton of different software included in the AV studio. We have the full Adobe suite. So if you want to make videos, do graphic design, edit photos, we have everything in there ready for you to use. We also provide like cameras and tripods and ring lights and all sorts of stuff. So it's a really cool setup. If you've been to the Advanced Learning Library before, it's right behind our tech training center. So the room with all the computers, it's right behind that. It's a giant green, it's a, not giant green, but it's a green room. You won't be able to miss it. It's really vibrant. It's located on the first floor. Is there technology to help me scan and save photos quickly to digital? Charles, do you know?
We absolutely. We do this at the library photocopiers, many times a day. If you don't have, you can bring your own flash drive. If you don't have a flash drive, we will loan you ours and then wipe it clean immediately afterward of your data. It will help you go through the process, obviously. We usually do it when folks are sending documents, and we just take it over to one of our computers, attach and send it, and wipe the flash drive clean, and we're done. Yeah, it is a free service, of course. The scanning, and you can bring in your own flash drive if you've got it.
Awesome.
First floor and second, right on the public copiers.
I'm going to scan through real quick to see if there's anything I am missing that I feel, well, everyone should know everything about the library, but some of the things. One other thing I want to touch on real quick, I think Sarah texted me about this. We're doing this really cool project right now in our special collections section, so our history area. It's called Tell Your COVID Story. We received an ARPA grant through the Institute of Museum and Library Services. And we're basically just asking people how COVID has affected them. What's your pandemic story? What we're wanting to do is collect these accounts. We're going to collect photos, oral histories, videos, news clips, all sorts of things. And then we're going to put these in a digital collection that residents of Wichita can access online. And it's just a way for us to document how COVID has impacted our daily lives here in Wichita. We're going to ask for accounts from individuals, religious organizations, businesses, healthcare workers, education workers, all sorts of people, so we can get a full scope of what happened or what is happening during the COVID-19 pandemic here in Wichita. So if this is something you're interested in, it's just wichitalibrary.org/tell-your-story. And all the information is here about the project. There's a quick questionnaire that you can access. And if you're interested, please participate. If you know people who might be interested, tell them to participate. And I don't see any other questions, Charles. So I am.
Linda had a question which I answered independently, which was, she asked if we have great resolution for the scans. In my experience, yes. I've recreated. I've used the service to recreate some CD covers, the CD cover art and so on, that was damaged in a flood situation at my home, and they've come out great. Once you situate them, you can't tell the difference. So I've had good luck with it. So
awesome. And
is that about everything?
Yeah.
Can't find the green.
Oh, okay. So if you here, I'll put the link to it.
Ah, okay.
And if you're on the Wichita Public Library's website, we have these little sliders. It's the third one. You can just click on that and it'll take you to it as well. All right, Charles, I'll let you close it out.
Okay, thank you, Sean. Thanks so much. You've been great. Let's see. And thanks to everyone here today for participating in the program. I've shared a link in the chat to a quick survey. It may take a few minutes to load, but please take the time to complete it. We look at every survey and use these to help plan future programs. Your feedback is important to us. And thanks so much to Sean for speaking with us today. And thanks to all of you for your support of the Wichita Public Library. And thanks for your patience in the transitions the format of the program has gone through this month. We hope to return to normal someday. This ends today's Senior Wednesday program. See our website